Hello, this is James Robert Deal. Today is July the 23rd, 2017. And this is another edition of my J.R. Deal News program. Mostly I'm talking about politics because I'm running for City Council, Position 1. I am often asked why I run. I ran for Lieutenant Governor in 2012. For City Council in 2013, for County Executive in 2014 and 2015, I ran for Governor in 2016, and now I'm running for City Council. The people at the Everett Herald refer to me as a serial candidate. So I haven't won yet, but someday I think I will. And this is practice. And this is waking people up to issues that more conventional candidates completely ignore. I run first of all to educate. If I fail to win, but if whoever is elected enacts my proposals, then I still will have won. It's the issues I care about more than actually being elected to office. If you want to follow along, you can go to jamesrobertdeal.org/why I run, Y-I-run. I want to be Linwood's idea man. I have a vision of a better future for us. We have to begin working on difficult issues if we're ever going to arrive at solutions. I'll be discussing the structural changes that I believe we need to make. I'll be educating, but I'll be listening and learning. I aim to call out the other candidates and make them take positions on the important issues facing us. My opponents are exceedingly conventional. They ignore the issues I raise. Maybe they lack the legal and scientific background to understand these issues. Maybe they're just non-thinkers. Fluoridation is the issue that got me into politics. Our water is toxic. If you drink it all your life, you'll be miserable in your old age and your life will be shortened. Children whose mothers in utero while carrying a child drink it and feed it to their children will have lower IQ. It is a scientific issue. It does take a little bit of study, but it's not complicated. So my opponents, I don't know what they're thinking. They're thinking that their dentist supports it, and they respect their dentist. By the way, there's a lot of dentists who oppose it. So maybe they feel they don't need to understand it. I mean, maybe they failed high school chemistry. And none of my opponents is keeping up with the smart meter issue. Within the next 2 to 3 years, PUD is going to put meters on the side of your house, which every 5 seconds are going to blast out enormous doses of microwave radiation. And each 5 seconds, they will be reporting to headquarters on which appliances you've turned on and turned off. They'll know your schedule. They'll know when you go to bed. They'll know when you turned on your vibrator, if you know what I mean. So they can be hacked. They catch fire. They explode. They're technically inferior to the old analog meters we have. But candidates don't seem to have much concern about this. Their big issue is, are we going to have our Linwood Fire Department consolidated with the general Snohomish County, South County Fire Department? I suppose that's a large issue, but it's inevitable that it's going to pass because there are more people outside the Linwood area who are going to vote for it than the population of Linwood. My opponents apparently don't know that the World Health Organization has declared that Roundup is a Class 2A carcinogen and that France and many other countries have banned it. It would be perfectly legal for the city of Linwood to, one, quit spraying it on our parks, quit spraying it on the cracks in the streets. It flows into the streams and eventually into the ocean, and it repels and kills salmon. When I tell them that Roundup kills salmon, they seem to look right through me. And they ignore the fact that most of our buses travel around mostly empty most of the time, just wasting our sales tax money and delivering poor service. The idea of having a fleet of vans replacing these underused buses, which would deliver door-to-door service, seems to be beyond their comprehension. We've always done it this way. I mean, buses, maybe during rush hour there are more people on them, but the rest of the time they're just running around empty. We're offering people rides, they don't take them. That's their fault. Well, those buses don't pick you up at your front door, and they'll take you many miles, but they won't take you all the way to your ultimate destination. And it's up to you to take a hike of a half a mile or a quarter mile to the bus stop and stand there in the dark, in the rain. Doesn't sound very secure to me. I don't want my wife or children doing that. I think door-to-door service with a 6-person van costs 1/6 of the cost of an Uber van. We could have an app on our cell phones and get picked up and taken to wherever we need to go. This method has already been tried in San Francisco, where Uber has Uber vans picking you up at your front door and taking you to the BART station. Why can't we have that? If I'm elected to the city council, I will apply for membership on the Community Transit Board and this Regional Transit Board. They're clueless. They have no idea what to do about traffic congestion. It's just going to get worse, folks. Conventional, conventional, conventional. And then we have this money-losing golf course, which owes the city of Linwood over $1 million and can never pay it back. It's doused with 19 different toxic chemicals, and the labels on the chemicals say kills fish. We all talk about recovering our salmon runs. We have a lot of streams running through Linwood where there are signs that say Salmon Bearing Creek, but there's no salmon in them anymore. And that's because the Roundup that people spray on their yards, the Roundup on the golf course, the Roundup on the parks, the fluoridated water that flows into these streams, all of these repel and kill salmon. Conventional, conventional, conventional. Most politicians are good at assembling a majority in order to get elected. That does not mean that they have any particular goals once they get elected. Most politicians seem to believe that the way things are is the way things should be, and that there is some reason why we do things in such wasteful, ineffectual ways. They're good at maintaining things as they are, but not good at making change. When I talk to my opponents about these issues, they say, I'm going to focus on saving tax money. That's what my opponent Van talks about all the time. I'm not going to allow your taxes to be raised. But why don't we talk about your taxes being wasted on mostly empty buses running around mostly empty most of the time? What about the inefficiency, the money lost in traffic congestion? Wake up and think, folks. They seem to think that these are not the kind of issues that they need to focus on because they've never focused on them, and maybe a little city doesn't have any place to do things like this. But I believe in local control. The people closest to issues are the ones who know the most about it, and cities have zoning powers and local police powers. There are many things that can be done on the city and county level which can't be accomplished on the state and federal level. cities can use their police powers and zoning powers to prohibit offensive activities. Also, I think the city of Linwood could benefit from having a knowledgeable environmental attorney on the council. My years in law practice has taught me to develop a really good bullshit detector. I don't think my opponents are as well endowed. I'm better studied in questions of environment and health issues than they are. My opponents are nice people, but apparently they've not studied the legal and scientific issues that I address. I'm a process-oriented person. I can do a better job of identifying what Linwood needs to do and figuring out a way to get it done. Being a member of the council would be a challenge. It would involve a lot of study. It's a very small salary. It's a lot of nights, a lot of reading. But I have a lot of experience studying and reading. I don't claim to be the best person for the job, however, the best people aren't running. I claim that among those who are running, I would do a much better job. If my opponents get elected, things will muddle along the way they all have been doing. Nothing will be done to make the changes that I outline. So I feel an urge to do something about it, and that's why I run for office. Every time I click that button and pay that filing fee, it lifts my spirits because I know that at least I'm doing something about this strange conventionality that we have. Here's an email from Mr. Greg. That's just his first name. He says, I too would like to see clean food, air, and water that is not drugged. In addition, I'm becoming concerned about all the loss of privacy in our society today. In Linwood, you can receive a ticket by robot. Very 1984 Big Brother. There are cameras trained everywhere on us, no matter where we go in the city. Best wishes, he says. These smart meters are hackable. The way they work is they beam their information not to a cell phone tower up in the air, but to the next house. So these meters are constantly busy receiving messages from the house next door and transmitting them to the next house. And these microwaves are being beamed horizontally right at the next house. If you happen to live in an apartment with a bank of 10 smart meters on the other side of the wall where you sleep, you're going to be affected. Some people are hypersensitive to microwave radiation. And we have 5G coming along. 5G is the new technology for cell phone connectivity. The experts like 5G because it'll deliver so much more data. We're talking about extremely high cycles per second, very short wavelengths. But these 5G antennae don't have a lot of range, so you're going to have one on every block. Well, good luck if one's right next to your house. I'm going to pause here and play my campaign theme song. Do unto others as you would have them do unto you. This is a 5-minute and 35-second song, so you can go get a cup of coffee if you'd like, and I'll be back in 5 minutes and 35 seconds. would have them do unto you. Hey, Mr. Rich Guy, I'm talking to you. Hey, big company, I'm talking to you. Hey, big government, I'm talking to you too. Do unto others applies to all. Hey, Monsanto, where's your code? Your code of ethics, you should have one. Hey, you fraudulent seller of carcinogenic Roundup, Monsanto, where's your code? Profits must be goal number 2 after doing something good for the world. Hey, ExxonMobil, look up, not down, to solar and wind and wave. Stop drilling now, the future is green. Be a big green energy company. Hey, ExxonMobil, stop your fracking ways. Your methane is even worse than your CO2. Quit poisoning the water, quit poisoning the air. Be a big green energy company. Hey, Shell Oil, how much did you spend? $8 billion in the Chuck E. Cheese scene. You left, you said there was no oil, but really there's a lot. It was Mother Nature's storms that drove you off. $8 billion would build enough solar power to permanently power 230,000 homes. Polluting the world is not only morally wrong, long term it makes absolutely no financial sense. You can make a tiny profit without fracking up the world. Do unto others applies to all. Hey, cattle rancher, take your beeves off the public land. Give the buffalo and the wolf a place to roam. Profits must be goal number 2 after doing something good for the world. And do unto others applies for our descendants, our duty to those billions yet unborn, our sons and our daughters for the next 10,000 years. Do unto others applies for all. And do unto our Mother Earth as you would have her be a home for your children. I'm back. I hope you like that. Do unto others as you would have them do unto you. Profit should be goal number 2 after doing something good for the world. Corporations are not people. They should be subject to higher standards than individuals. They should do something good for the world other than extract profits. Why is it that people think conventionally? I think that most of us tend to follow what respected people, what the example that respected people put forth. And we do that, of course, as children. We admire our parents and our teachers and other authority figures. But we would hope that at some point in our lives we become critical thinkers and say to ourselves, is that really right? Should I be drinking 0.7 milligrams of toxic waste in every liter of water? Should I be doing that for my entire life when kidneys can only excrete half of it and it builds up in your bones? Think for yourself, folks. Why don't our politicians think? I engaged in a lengthy debate with Governor Inslee and the Department of Health over this issue. Just go to jamesrobertdeal.org and search for Inslee. He just doesn't see it. And a lot of people ask me, what about my Brita filter? Sorry, the Brita filter will remove chlorine, but it's not going to remove fluoride because it's such a tiny little molecule. The most efficient way, reliable way to eliminate fluoride is to use a water distiller. And if you'll look on my website in the right column, you'll see my water distiller, $229, available on Amazon. There is no filter to replace. Well, yeah, there is a little carbon filter at the spout, which is there to filter out some things that vaporize at about the same temperature as water and need additional physical filtration. We run it once or twice a day. It costs about 30 cents per gallon to completely purify your water. Once a cash flow gets going, whether it's smart meters, whether it's fluoride in drinking water, fluoride in toothpaste, fluoride used in the dental office, whether it's Roundup being used on large-scale agriculture or used in lawns, a cash flow gets going and it's hard to get it stopped. Corporations protect their cash flow, and sometimes they lose any code of ethics that they ever had. And Monsanto is a case in point. You would think that when the World Health Organization declares that Roundup is a type 2A carcinogen, that Monsanto would say, okay, we'll invent something else. Or maybe we'll get into building robots that pull out weeds. That's a project that the Japanese are working on and apparently have protected it. We don't need to spray Roundup on corn, cotton, soy. We even spray Roundup on wheat that's not GMO wheat because it kills the wheat and causes it all to dry out at the same time so it can be cut very efficiently. I'm inviting you to go to jamesrobertdeal.org/safe-water and read up on the issues and write your candidates. I'm not going to quit, and you shouldn't quit either because you're being slowly poisoned. If you go to a restaurant, you need to ask them, how do you filter your water? Do you have a reverse osmosis filter that you use to make your coffee, make your tea, provide that cup of drinking water that's on your table, to cook your food? You should know what you're consuming. You also need to get a shower filter that filters out fluoride, and you can go online to ProPure, and I'm able to take showers again. What I was doing was taking baths, but adding a lot of magnesium sulfate to the water, because fluoride loves magnesium, and that's a way of having the fluoride not penetrate my skin. I went to law school at the University of Washington. I wanted to be an environmental attorney, but upon graduation I found that the only paying jobs for environmental lawyers was working for polluters. There was an environmental bar, but they didn't want any competition. So I got into doing real estate law, and then I got into being a real estate broker. And frankly, I find it a lot of fun. I get to go see property, get to know the geography of the area. I use my legal skills, and currently I tell people, if I'm your broker, I don't charge extra for the legal advice. If you're buying or selling, you might be wise to consult with an attorney. If I'm your broker, I'm also your attorney. And I'm an environmental attorney. You can see my website, fluoride-class-action.com. Fluoride-class-action.com. There's a wealth of information there on this critical subject. I get feedback from around the world, and my role there is to try to organize a group of attorneys who will bring a fluoride class action. I print out my 8.5 by 14 inch fluoride broadsheets and give them to anybody I find it convenient to give to. So why do I think that as a city council member that I could do something about this? Simply because our water comes from Everett, and the City Council of Everett and the people of Everett voted on this. They voted it in, and we are a captive water district of Everett. All of our water comes from Spada Lake and Lake Chaplin. They're up above Sultan. It's the purest water you can possibly get. There's 10 feet of rain that falls on Spada Lake. It's located where the convergence comes together. The winds that go north around Mount Olympus and the winds that go south around Mount Olympus converge there and drop enormous amounts of rain. But then we add toxic waste to our drinking water, which contains lead and leaches lead from your pipes. If I were on the City Council, I would explain how simple it would be for the City Council to write a letter to Everett and say, look, you've got 4 big pipes coming down from Lake Chaplin. Dedicate one of them to Linwood or to South County. And I would also make contact with the city councils in other South County cities and urge them to join with us. We never had a chance to vote on this. I'm going to let you hear another song that I play, Bach's Well-Tempered Clavier, and my reinterpretation of this song. I want to thank you for listening. I want to urge you to vote on August 1st or fill out your voter pamphlet, your ballot for me. Um, my opponents are nice and decent people, and they bring good qualities to the city council. Van stresses that he doesn't want to see your taxes raised. He stresses the fact that he's been on the city council before, but what has he done about toxic waste in your drinking water? What has he done about the buses running around mostly empty most of the time? What has he done about our money-losing golf course with 19 different toxic chemicals in it? Well, I think it is a relatively important issue whether we consolidate our fire departments. I frankly don't have much of an opinion on the subject. I think it's sure to pass because there are more people outside of Lynnwood voting on it. I'm also strongly in favor of having school gardens. There's lots of extra land at most schools. Students would learn by doing gardening. They would harvest the vegetables and cook them in the school cafeteria. Kids are not getting enough vegetables. They eat a bread, meat, milk, egg diet, mostly. And vegetables are what makes you strong and healthy. You don't have to be a vegan like I am to get the benefit of eating a largely vegetable diet. Now, City Council has no jurisdiction over schools, but I would use my prominence to encourage schools to set up school gardens and the community to join with the students to run them year-round when the schools are closed during the summer. I do these programs on Wednesday evening and Sunday evening at 8 p.m. And if you want to help me win, I want you to email 2 links to your friends. And one is jamesrobertdeal.org/platform, and the other is jamesrobertdeal.org/radio. They can listen to this recording later because I'm going to post it on the Why Do I Run page and also on the radio page. So pass the word, and also, there's a donate button at the top of the page. This costs money to run for office. And I'm going to leave you with another song I've written. Follow your truth wherever it leads you, and do not fear the truth you may find. I hope there is a God above, I pray there is no devil. I hope there is a heaven, I pray there is no hell.
find. I hope there is a God above. I pray there is no devil. I hope there is a heaven. I pray there is no hell. Some may be deserving of punishment infernal. May they be punished no more and no less. Some may be deserving of retirement in heaven. If I am so lucky, my hope is to play the big pipe organ, to play the big pipe organ. Greenland will melt, Antarctica too. Oceans will rise, our cities will be undersea attractions. A comet will fall into Atlantic, tsunami cross Pacific, will overtop the coastal nukes. Plutonium catch fire and burn. Plutonium catch fire and burn. Once alight, those nukes will burn for 1,000 years. We will live underground, come out only in hazmat. The sun in solar maximum will send us a mass ejection. Electronics will be toasted and we will return to the 1800s. Life is a tragedy, said an ancient sage. A tragedy to those who feel, but a comedy to those who think. So I've thought, and I've thought about it often, about taking my own life. The thing that has kept me going is knowing I'll be dead soon enough. I was sitting by her side when my mother died at 90. Dying won't be so bad, she said. In heaven I can smoke if I want. Follow your truth, she would say, wherever it leads you, and do not fear the truth you may find. I hope there is a God above. love, I pray there is no devil. I hope there is a heaven. I pray there is no hell. I pray there is no hell. Unlikely, but such things have happened before. Unlikely things which have happened before will eventually happen again. People often ask me why my verses seldom rhyme. I never claim to be a poet, I'm only a drummer boy. I'm only a drummer boy. You say it's unlikely, but such things have happened before. Unlikely things which have happened before will eventually happen again. People often ask me why my verses rarely rhyme. I never claim to be a poet, I'm only a drummer boy. I'm only a drummer boy. Our Father who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done on earth as it is in heaven up above. Give us this day our daily bread, as we share with those in need. us our wrongs as we forgive others' wrongs. And may we not be tested, but if we are, may we survive the test. For thine is the kingdom, the power, and the glory, forever and ever. Amen. Amen. Someday the Lord will come, that's what the good book has said, and he'll be punishing the wicked and rewarding the good. And most of those remaining will be wishing they was dead, condemned 'cause they failed to do unto others. They'll be making up excuses. They'll be making up excuses. They'll be making up excuses, saying we just never understood. There was a wise man down here, he was a-teaching his truth. Matthew wrote his words down, unfortunately they were later burned. Mark, who spoke a different language, but doing the best he could. Mark, who never even met him, wrote again third hand. And so it ain't no surprise, and so it ain't no surprise, and so it ain't no great big surprise. He wrote it down half wrong. You sent us other prophets, you sent us messiahs and priestesses. Why, the one who came last year, she won the Nobel Prize for Peace. But they all are speaking esoteric languages that most of us don't understand. They are specialists too narrow to teach the overview. And so it ain't no surprise, and so it ain't no surprise, so it ain't no great big surprise. We still don't understand. But there be some of us that's trying to do your will, and so we think we have some right to ask one question still. Lord, 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 with all due respect, Lord, Lord, if it was all so important that we understand, Lord, if it was all so important, why didn't you make it clear? And so it ain't no surprise, and so it ain't no surprise, and so it ain't no great big surprise. We still don't understand. But there be some of us that's trying to do your will, and so we would presume to make one final request. Lord, 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 with all due respect, Lord, Lord, if it is all so important that we understand, Lord, even at this late date in time, please could you make it clear? So it ain't no surprise, and so it ain't no surprise, and so it ain't no great big surprise. We're still trying to understand. James Robert Deal, February the 17th, 2017.